1955, President Dwight D. Eisenhower declared war on Ho Chi Minh and the North Vietnamese Communists. This war was continued until 1973, where Richard Nixon took over the war and had a goal to end the war. He did this by using various strategies of bombing, camouflage, guerrilla warfare, and sending troops into places he was not supposed to do so. He was very afraid of this right. Nixon's actions were seen as very bad by the public. Many publications, including the Washington Post, New York Times, and New York Post, posted very bad things about Nixon's presidency and even implied that he should be impeached. Many members of Congress, including the very famous Clement Zablocki, representative out of Wisconsin, were very opposed to Nixon's actions. Zablocki was the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. He mostly quoted the fact that Nixon, who had been pouring various gases on the Vietnamese people, didn't deserve. Look at the hideous things he had done to the Vietnamese people. Zablocki originated the War Powers Act in his own house. As he was a representative, it was very easy for him to get it passed back into his own committee, where he and all of his committee members had unanimously voted to send it back to the House. The House voted with a 60% yay to pass the bill onto the Senate. The Senate was not as quick about it. As the House only took 3 days, the Senate took 3 months. The Senate took a lot of time thinking about whether the Senate should allow the bill to pass through due to the fact that it was very opposing Nixon and stopping his actions as what he can do as president. After all, the Senate had finally accepted the bill, and Zablocki was given the bill to walk all the way back to the White House. Zablocki expected Nixon to be very forceful, and almost everyone expected the veto. The veto was a very good use of Nixon's power, as he did not want to lose any more of his possible power that he had already lost through most of his Watergate scandal and through Nixon, who already had a 27% veto override, was not expecting his veto to pass. In the House, he already had his 2/3 locked in. Zablocki, leading his committee, and a majority of the House was opposing him and a majority of his actions in Vietnam. One of his lone supporters was future president and his current vice president, Gerald Ford, who opposed the bill very simply, though no one cared about his actions because everyone knew he would be the future vice president. He was very famous for falling down a lot, and no one really regarded his actions in any part of the House, and as president, he never did many famous things. Ford was a waste. In the Senate, the 2/3 was never actually guaranteed, because many people were talking about whether it would actually do anything, because most people wanted to veto it over the war, and some people didn't want to veto it because by doing that, they would lose their ability to impeach Nixon due to his actions in Vietnam. Thomas F. Eagleton famously said opposing the veto was that this would be an ability to kick the presidency. He most likely meant to kick the president out of office or forcing him to resign due to his very insidious actions in Vietnam, but we like to think it was more dancing and kicking him while Nixon was pushed down to the ground. Now that both Senate and House Foreign Affairs Committee had agreed and the Senate and House posted 2/3 agreement on their veto bills, Zablocki was ready to take the bill to Nixon. By passing this bill, then overriding his veto, Nixon had lost any power and credibility in the Vietnamese War. The war would go on to end in 2 years with Gerald Ford as president due to the fact that Nixon would have resigned in 1974 due to the Watergate scandal. As you can see, Zablocki had affected Nixon in very hard ways, even though he could not play basketball, as shown by our video. Thank you, Seth. Nixon has even been quoted saying, had Zablocki not passed this bill and not put it down at the same time, he believes he could have still been president and even gone on to serve his full next term.
Hey guys, do you see that tip off the Kyrie Irving had a LeBron James?
I have that in video.
Oh god.
Hey, Rick.
Wait.
Yeah, song.
Yeah,
We're not doing an alley-oop.
Go.
Oh no, it's a football. There's a football. It's not good. We're gonna keep on doing it until it's good though. Alright.
There you go. Ready.
This Persephone feels like a man now.
Go.
Alright, no.
Because he just got dunked on.
There's a question. Hi. That's... I go.
You got blocked by the rim.
You got blocked by the rim.
Hey, please let me go get it.
See, look, you're about to take.
Oh, no.
He does have a point. He does have a point. Oh. Hey, that's more practice for me.
Did you like that?